Now, as you all know, the Gill Foundation announced late last year that we would conduct a strategic reevaluation of our Gay and Lesbian Fund for Colorado program. And as part of that process, we consolidated the program's operations and moved them all to Denver, to our Denver office. And that left this beautiful building available to either be sold or donated. Now, we heard from many of our community partners here in Colorado Springs about your hopes and desires for this building going forward. And it was important that it continued to serve as a space for people to gather, to have dialogue, and work together to build a better city, indeed a better state for everyone. And I can assure you that Tim Gill, our board, and all the staff at the Gill Foundation and the Gay and Lesbian Fund for Colorado want to see that tradition continue. Now, beyond that, we also hoped that this building could have wide-reaching benefit, not only for Colorado Springs and El Paso County, but for the whole state. And with our announcement today, we think we've accomplished both of these goals. One program area of the Gay and Lesbian Fund that we knew would remain was our grants to public broadcasting outlets all across the state. We do 16 of those. So it is with pleasure that we announce that in continuing the Gill Foundation's strong commitment to this community, to our beautiful state of Colorado, to local nonprofits, and to public broadcasting in Colorado, the Gill Foundation is donating this building to Rocky Mountain PBS. So at this time, I want to ask the president and CEO of Rocky Mountain PBS, Doug Price, and Amanda Mountain from Rocky Mountain PBS, their regional director, to join Tim Gill and I up here on this stage, and we're going to do a little unveiling.
So having come from banking and realizing that I don't get emotional about many things, I remember when Tim Sweeney called me and said, "Hey, we're going to do this," and I said, "Tim, I'm a little misty-eyed because I think it does some things that lets us think about the collaboration moving forward." I see Delaney here with KRCC, and it struck me. This morning, as we came up, we had to go off of I-25 because of a problem, and it was wistful for me because we drove up the back road where I used to work in Perry Park and came through where I went to Young Life in Palmer Lake, went by the trailer court I grew up in, and then saw the place where my dad was buried. And it struck me as the perfect metaphor for what we were doing today. Nobody succeeds. I think the president said it yesterday. Nobody succeeds on their own. It takes a variety of different people, and it takes a community. And as we think about this idea of community to contribute to the lives of people, this is a catalytic investment. Make no mistake about it. It's already changed the way we think. And it enables Rocky Mountain PBS to establish the Tim Gill Center for Public Media, which will be an exciting initiative led by Rocky Mountain PBS that'll bring 21 organizations together throughout Colorado, including the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, Colorado College, KRCC 91.5, and Delaney Utterbach, who's been to me a great mentor, a great friend in public media. I'm only 3 years into my career in this field. Pikes Peak Community College, the Pikes Peak Library District, and the Rocky Mountain Community Radio Group's 16 public radio partners around the state to create cross-platform content. It will increase our collective impact. It will link higher education with public media to arm students with the requisite skills to thrive in the new media environment. I think significantly when we come down here, I've been down here many times as just somebody who never thought about being a holder of the key, so to speak, and I think we take that really seriously. We know that this building has served as a community gathering place for citizens and organizations to have dialogue and to work together in common purpose to build a better community and a better state. We will honor the historic significance of the building by keeping open as public meeting space the Gay and Lesbian Fund for Colorado Community Room, as well as other public meeting spaces in the building. And as of today, we're accepting applications for the position of office manager to coordinate the public meeting spaces in the building, among other things. And so one of the things that enticed us about wanting to be here was the fact that it had a legacy of over 500 nonprofit and civic groups meeting here on an annual basis. It's caused us to need to serve that idea that we had to invert the way we serve the public. It was no longer going to be an elite from the top, one voice telling everybody what we thought in broadcasting. This gives us a chance to really meet with the community that we serve, to have it impact the way we serve the community, and to better deliver media in all forms, whether on air, online, or in person to the public. And to me, to be from this community, to have roots here so deep as I do, it's a terrific opportunity to think about coming here more often. With Amanda Mountain serving as the executive director of the Tim Gill Center for Public Media, the building will reopen to the public in September, and we hope to announce a ribbon cutting ceremony in the coming weeks. It's hard to read when the wind is blowing. The transformation of public media in general, and Rocky Mountain PBS in particular, depends on a radical reformation to serve the informational and educational needs of a changed civil society. This investment from the Gill Foundation offers us an opportunity to create such change. We seek to be immersed in the community on air, online, and in person in order to serve the community. The Tim Gill Center for Public Media will be the place for collaboration, innovation, and engagement in Southern Colorado and beyond. And I would be remiss, it's not in my prepared remarks because it will make people uncomfortable to be thanked so publicly, but this is game changing. I think that Tim and I have mutual friends. We had not met each other before this. Tim Sweeney and I have become friends to think about the way that we can be transformational together. I hope this isn't the end of a process, but the beginning of a friendship that dictates a better way to serve the public. And I'll look forward to answering questions collectively to see how we do that.
When we announced the consolidation 8 months ago, I think probably not much more than a week went by before Doug Shand, who was a member of the Rocky Mountain PBS board, called and said, "So Tim, what are you doing with that building?" And made the suggestion that perhaps we should donate it to Rocky Mountain PBS. And as it turns out, that's what we've done. And we did it for a couple of reasons. One is they promised to keep the community spaces open and available to the community. That was something that we valued very greatly when we had staff here. And the fact that it gets to continue is incredibly important to me. And the other thing is we've invested in public radio, public television, a whole variety of things, basically ever since the Gill Foundation was formed. It was one of our very first early grants within the first year or so. And that's because, to me, it's about talking to a community that's committed to lifelong learning, to lifelong reevaluation of what it means to be part of a community, what it means to be an American. And all of those things are something that we want to foster. We as a country, we as a community do better when people think, when they're thoughtful, when they take all of the different points of view and subject them to analysis. And anyone who does that is creating a better society for all of us. And that's why we're here. That's why Rocky Mountain PBS is a great place for this building to go, because that's what they will bring to this community. Thanks.
The gift of this building actually does not reflect any future funding strategies or priorities for the Gill Foundation or the Gay and Lesbian Fund for Colorado. You know, that strategic reevaluation is just finishing up. We're going to have an announcement in the fall about the other programs we're going to support. But I do want to be clear that our ongoing commitment to public broadcasting, which last year was $125,000 to about a dozen different radio and TV stations across the state, is going to continue.